Hi everyone, welcome to Cult 51's live with Claire McCulloch. Hi Claire, how are you?
I'm very you.
I'm good, thank you. The connection's not great, so hopefully we'll muddle through. But
Won't
anyway,
do.
how are you?
I'm very good, very good. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, and you. Thank you for agreeing to do this with us this evening. I just kind of want to touch base with you and introduce you to our followers. Do you want to do a bit of an intro about you, or would you like me to introduce you?
Well, you do a little bit and I'll build on it.
Okay. Okay, so this is Claire. She is a Team GB triathlete, 6 times Ironman 70.3, which I think I'd like you to elaborate on a little bit. Personal trainer, and she's basically massively into fitness and running.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's it, we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely spot on. So yeah, no, it's really is fitness and coaching really is my passion. My background originally was I was a marketeer, and then we left the UK and spent 12 years overseas, and it gave me a great opportunity to retrain and do something that I'm really passionate about. So I haven't looked back since. I've had the amazing opportunity to coach and work in Asia and over in the UAE and Dubai, and now back in the UK. And along that journey, well, right from the very beginning, I've always been really into fitness, but specifically running. That's my real go-to, my real headspace. And then I've got into triathlon probably properly in the last 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say in properly, what do you mean? You were doing it for fun before, or?
I sort of dabbled with it maybe a little bit when we lived in Europe and Czech Republic. Tried a
Okay.
couple little sprint races, and then it was actually then but I then really turned rather than showing up for just to run in races, I started to properly really push myself and just basically see what my body could do. And so I started to do that with my running, and then that then translated to getting into triathlon when I moved to Dubai. And so tried a few races. They worked out quite well, and then I just went straight to doing the Ironman 70.3 distance. So that's probably my favorite distance for triathlon. And so I've just done lots of racing all over the world, and then recently moved back to the UK, and that's what's given me the opportunity to then qualify and compete for Team B. So you have to qualify for the team, and so that's what I've been doing for the last but I started actually competing from last year.
So is that a full-time job, if you like?
I'm it's called an age group, so it's not my full-time job. So I do my coaching. I do
Wow.
coaching, and obviously I work in lovely gyms, and I train people face to face. So no, the triathlon is my hobby. So which obviously takes up quite a bit of time and takes me around the world, which is amazing. But I obviously have to just fit in my training on top of normal life.
Oh my goodness, I feel completely inadequate, actually.
That's
Amazing. So what race or competition are you now training for?
So at the moment, that there's in the background there might be the Ironman 70.3 Dubai, but literally could be announced any minute, and that's the beginning of March. So I'm having to keep things ticking along on the assumption that might happen, and then actually after that, I've got a full year of racing lined up. So I've got 5 races for Team GB. All in different countries around the world and different distances, and then I've got the Ironman 70.3 World Championships in Finland as well. So, and I compete there as an individual. So I do that as an individual, and then my GB stuff, you know, as part of the team, but also, you know, you are still racing as an individual, but you're representing your country as well, which is great.
Yeah. So do you ever have any downtime where you would say, I'm not as fit as I would like to be, or because you don't know when those races are going to come, do you have to maintain that fitness the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, you do. So it's really important that you have a little bit of downtime. So I had a really busy year last year of competing, and so competing for the team, and then also while you're competing, you're still having to go to qualification races in between. So my last race was end of November, so it was really important that I did actually dial it down in December. But even dialing it down is, I'm still training, so you don't stop. But you know, normally I would do 2 sessions a day, 2 training sessions a day. But maybe I'll just drop it down to 1 or something, and you can just pull the intensity back a bit. But now, you know, because I've got potentially the Ironman coming up, I've had to ramp up it and start to put those longer sessions in. So yeah, but it's important. It's really important. You can't go full throttle all year round because you will just burn out. So you do need you need to dial it back a bit, physically and mentally as well. And then pick it up when you need to.
That leads me quite nicely into my first question, actually. Mindset is kind of my biggest challenge in terms of, I like running, but nothing on your scale, so forget that. But my mindset is the biggest hurdle. When you say you have to dumb it down, not just physically, but mentally, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I think it's basically, you can just, when you're specifically, or when I'm specifically training for an event, you know, that I'm sort of following a plan, you know, I have a coach that puts, you know, a training plan together. But when you can dial it down, it's very much just, you know, whether it's going for a run on field or go for a ride or go for a swim, it might not have that really intensive or very structured training session to it. I'm very lucky that I've always loved sport. I've loved running, and it's been my headspace, and it's never ever been a chore. And I massively appreciate that's not for everybody, you know. So a lot of people would like to do more, but actually they find it's a real hurdle to get there. So I'm very fortunate that it's been a passion of mine since day dot. And therefore, you know, I love what I do, but I very much hear what you're saying, and that's where the coaching is great as well.
Okay. So if I think about the time of year that we're at now, New Year, lots of people are making resolutions. There's a lot of evidence that says that most people's New Year's resolutions are about fitness and diet and all of that. Do you have any advice for people that are like either starting out or had that downtime in, you know, the party season, if you like, and are now thinking, oh, it's cold outside, I've got to get back to it. About kind of starting again.
Absolutely. I think there's, you know, it's really important as well. And, you know, I love it. You know, I love a party. I love a drink. I eat everything. So I'm not, you know, one of these people that's all like, you know, holier than thou. So that's really important that people don't beat themselves up and do live life well and enjoy party season and all that kind of stuff, and don't feel that they can't, you know, come back from it, or you know, it's this huge hurdle to then climb. So it's really important to keep a balance, because I think we're all juggling a heck of a lot, let's face it. And I think load of pressure onto yourself to be, you know, a strict diet never going to work, or cutting this out and that out. So balance, really important. And I think you've really hit a point. So winter, dark months is really tough, and it has an impact on us mentally, but getting out and about and moving is medicine, a real mantra. So to answer a question for people starting out, is to make set a really huge goal, start with, whether it's 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, but make it part of a daily routine and make it achievable. So whether it's a brisk walk or starting to run, join a spin class or go swimming or strength training, absolutely anything, but just start small and start to build on it. So I think a lot of people fall down because they set these huge, I feel like I should be doing, hours of this and that, or go day. Just make it achievable and small chunks, and just do something that you enjoy, or with someone that you enjoy spending time with.
Yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it? Because if it's already hard to get going when you first start, then where have you got to go with that? You've got to kind of muster up this effort when
So, and I think committing to something, so whether it's going to working out as a group, is really powerful, because you get a sense of community, and also you are, you're signing up to a class or a session or a boot camp or whatever it is, or committing to meeting someone for that walk or run or something. So sometimes, and everyone works differently, some people really need that motivation of someone else, but actually I spend a lot of time training by myself, A, just because of life, and B, but I it's quite a good headspace for me. But I also love that sense of community when I'm coaching in a gym with people. So you need that mixture of the two, but often starting out to something either through a small group training or a gym or a friend or something can help get that commitment. Right, we're going to meet at this time, and you feel like I can't let them down.
Okay, amazing. Now to move it on to skincare a little bit.
Yes.
Do you have a regime that you follow?
I have to say I'm not. I literally so I spend my life. It's just abnormal that I'm actually in normal clothes. I'm always in gym kit. Twice a day. I don't wear a huge amount of makeup, so I can't pretend that I'm a holier than thou with my skincare routine. But what I absolutely swear by is a really, really good moisturizer, I have to say. So a good moisturizer is absolutely worth its weight in gold, and I have to say your stuff is amazing.
And does your need for moisturizer, or the type of moisturizer, does it change depending on where you're training? Because you mentioned traveling all over the world and living in Dubai and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you have to mix it up? Yeah.
It's a really good point. No, I tend to just, if I find something, obviously if you're working in much more humid, I don't need as much. So you need less because the humidity is higher. And obviously in colder weather, I naturally just tend to use more. So I'd see more, it's just actually the quantity rather than actually changing what I use, to be honest.
Yeah. And how does it affect your skin? As in, it doesn't sound like you even think about it, which is not a bad thing. You sounds like you just go out and get on with the job. But do you have any, I don't know, do you suffer with anything in different climates, or rosacea or acne or anything like that?
No, I haven't really found that different climates affect. I mean, obviously for all of us, that hormones will obviously affect that, or stress, and obviously hydration. So being in a hotter climate, and actually it's something I really encourage people here in the UK. It's when it's not as hot. It's that classic thing, just trying to drink as much water as you can, which again I don't necessarily practice what I preach, but it's just those kind of things. So staying well hydrated, especially if you're working out, but even just I think a lot of people say, I'm not really drinking much in a cold climate, so it's important you still that's always obviously looks after your skin, but no, I think I think hormones and stress are probably the two major things that massively affect all of our skin, actually.
Okay. And in terms of, I know you just said you don't use a lot of skincare, but do you have a top couple of products that you couldn't possibly live without? It could be a lip balm. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'd say two, I'd probably mascara. You've hit, so what, lip balm and mascara.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there's my go-to things, and yeah, if I feel like I've got something on my eyelashes, then I'm good to go.
Okay, sounds amazing. All right, so if we go back to fitness for a minute, now I understand that you've got two boys and you're all very active as a family, but the age of them leads me to believe that you are over 40.
I am.
So do you that's a very roundabout way of talking about age. Do you have any recommendations or health goals for anybody in our kind of customers or clientele's age group?
Yeah, heaps I could say about that. So obviously, yeah, anything over 40, we are, you know, like it or not, our muscle mass changes. There's going to be a change in our hormone levels, affects how we feel mentally, how we feel physically. So it's just really, really important that, again, I just say keep moving. It's the power of movement, and I think my biggest passion is what it does to us mentally. So it, for me personally, it has a huge effect. For anyone starting out, I always just say to them, just remember how you felt when you finished. So
Yeah,
you know, we again,
that
because
endorphin.
the endorphins are just the magic free drug of the world, which are
Yeah.
all of us at any stage.
Mm.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You can't deny the fact there is a change in our bodies for men and women over 40. I think a lot of people always talk about women all the time. It's really important that we acknowledge that there is a change for men as well.
Yeah, okay.
Staying active is really important, and getting that balance of, you know, strength training or aerobic. So it's not just all steady state cardio. You can't just be smashing a body running all the time, or it's keep a variation, to keep it interesting,
Yeah.
and variation of steady state stuff with some intensity, because that really then helps you know, maintain muscle mass, burn body fat, but most importantly, what it does for us mentally.
And would you recommend I don't know, 5 times a week, 3 times a week, 10 minutes a week? Any?
Um, I think if for those starting out, I definitely, if you can fix something into three to four times a week, would be absolutely amazing. Also, get outside. Anything you can do outside to get some fresh air is really powerful. Again, it's harder in the winter. It's harder when it's dark in the morning and the evening. But fresh air is also good, amazing for us. Also great for our skin, our, you know, all that kind of stuff. So again, make it achievable. 3 times a week if your time's short, and just try and, a lot of times, or a lot of issues people have is I don't have time. Now I'm a real early bird. Often you either going to be an early bird or a night owl. So
Mm.
just see it as it is your time, and you'll be a better person, and you'll feel a better person, and you can just cope and deal with much better all the
Live.
life,
Yeah.
honestly. Stress, all the different directions that we're all pulled in, whether it's, you know, work, family, children, whatever. And just to throw in there, managing stress levels, the powerful effect of exercise and movement on reducing our stress levels, is, you know, there's so much research about. So and stress is obviously not good for us, and we can't avoid it, but exercise and movement is a great stress reliever as well. So
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of motivation, once you've got going, and you've got out there and you've made those first few weeks and you can see a little bit of progress.
yeah.
Have you got any tips for anybody staying motivated beyond January? Because when you go to the gym in January, you see loads of people the first 2 weeks, and
Totally.
then they're all gone. Yeah.
They disappear. Again, I think it's just, don't suddenly go absolutely bananas in January and do so much that you burn yourself out and can't maintain it. So try and find something you love. You might have to try a few things. So
Okay.
whether in class or a group training or a workout online or something, but variation I think is really important, because then through that if you try a few things in January, something's going to stick.
Okay.
To try a few things rather than just hammering one thing, and then and just do something where you can find one other person or some form of community, because that then holds you. If you're struggling to, if for those that struggles to, to motivate themselves, the sense
You're
of group
accountable.
really does. But I would say just don't suddenly set these huge goals for January, which then just can't be maintained. Consistency is key. It's it's such a phrase that's thrown around, but it really does. It is key. If you can find something that you just is manageable and maintainable.
Okay. And lastly, what are your fitness goals for 2023? I know you've got loads of races lined up, but I guess you don't become an award-winning triathlete without keep stretching yourself, keep going further, keep motivating. Yeah.
I just think I always, there's always room for improvement. I feel firstly really grateful that I have the opportunity to do it and my body holds up. I really do approach every single race as I just absolutely turn myself inside out, back to front. I show up at each race as, I mean, obviously life throws all sorts of stuff at us, so you can never turn up feeling perfectly trained. There might have been illness, there might have been stress, there might have been a whole load of things. But it's all you can do is I just say, show up on the day, see what the body brings, and just see how it turns out. So I will very much continue that attitude. I will keep life in balance as well. So I always try, I just don't put pressure on myself. And I also just don't really, you can't control, you can only control the controllables. So you just have a whole load of other stuff going. I think that's for sport, racing, and generally life. I think it's just something that I really try and keep in my head. But in terms of goals for this year, I just think I'll have a flipping good crack at the races that I'm going to. So the GB races, I've got Madrid, Hamburg, another one Pontevedra, and then I'm going to Finland for the Ironman. So I think I'll just have a really good crack at all the races, put the best training in I can, but also accept that it's not going to be perfect and there will be ups along the way, but stay injury free is the main thing. And just enjoy it. For me, it's really important that I enjoy it. So I think for all of us, life's too short. So we've just got to do what we enjoy and have the best time while we do it, really.
Amazing. I love your positivity and your mindset. It's infectious probably to all your friends and family, but also I think we could all learn something from that. Everybody is going through stress, even if they don't look like they are. Everybody's got something going on, and to kind of just keep plugging away but not beat yourself up about it is a really good mantra, actually.
I honestly, everyone is battling away. I think exactly that. I mean, social media makes, people share and celebrate the good stuff in life, and that's absolutely fine, and people are entitled to do that. But everyone's battling on behind the scenes, and it really is just allowing, being kind to yourself, being just knowing that whenever you see people, everyone has got some. And I always feel that with the gyms that I work in, people come in and they're probably there's probably got a whole heap of stuff going on in here, and I feel that my job is to make sure that when they leave me or they leave the studio, that they feel much better and much more able to take on the day. But I think we're all just trying to do our best, and that's why I just think it's just make some small changes and just feel really proud of those changes that you've made, all those little routines that you might have put in place, and if it doesn't work out one day or things go off track a bit, don't beat yourself up, just then start the next day afresh, and
Again.
throw yourself.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Claire. It's
So,
been really, really fascinating and really motivational as well. I feel like going for a run.
exactly. Just gonna put your trainers on and just walk
Yeah,
dark.
yeah, exactly. With my head torch. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's been really, yeah, lovely, lovely to chat to you, and I was very, very honoured to be invited. So thank you very much.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, good luck with all your races, and yeah, I look forward to hearing more.
Absolutely. Great to see you and great to chat.
Yeah. Bye.
See you. Bye.